What's up? What's up? What's up? This is Terry G from Let's Talk TV. Welcome to our first ever mashup video. Welcome to our first ever mashup video. I know it's been a while. It's been 2 whole months since we have updated any content to the channel. We just sort of wanted to, take a step back, look at everything that is going on, especially with Harry and Meghan. And boy, has a lot been going on. Before we jump into things, just want to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, share. Engagement on the channel is paramount. We need some visibility. So, whichever one of those things you choose to do, whether to like, to comment, to subscribe, or to share, of course, we will greatly appreciate it. If you're just like one of those persons who just watches the video, we appreciate that as well. As I mentioned, a lot has been going on with Harry and Meghan, and they've become sort of like, it's hard to describe it, but they have a level of celebrity that is greater than the royal family. And I say that because a lot of the persons who are within the family, their association with the family is what is the driving force behind their visibility and popularity. But I think that over the last couple of years, Harry and Meghan have been able to establish themselves where they are a brand unto themselves, if that makes any sense. As I mentioned, a lot of things have been going on. And so let's start with the look back projects. A lot of people have been saying, when are they going to move on? When are they going to stop talking about these things? When will they start their new chapter? And I think perhaps they've been thinking that as well. And so they have said that the last two big things that they've given to the public are their look back projects, and they plan to move in a different direction. And ultimately, before you can move in a new direction, it's important for you sort of to close the chapter on what went down. And so they have done so in two hugely successful projects. First up is the Netflix docuseries. So back in December, they had two releases on Netflix. One is the docu series, which is a six-part episode where sort of some of the content, if I'm being honest, is stuff that we've seen in the Oprah interview, that we've seen in the Me You Can't See. But with the Harry and Meghan docu series, what we got were more intimate details provided through pictures, through videos, and through interviews with their friends, family members who were in the trenches, if you would like to say that, as they were going through their struggles. 6 parts, 6 hours. The first three episodes, I would say, is sort of background information, laying the foundation, how they met, their first impressions of each other, how they grew up, who they were outside of them being a couple, and then ultimately having them meet. The relationship progressed to an engagement, and the last three episodes are about their wedding, the birth of their child, and then all hell breaking loose on them leaving, them moving to Canada firstly and then to North America. So very interesting tidbits in that. Tyler Perry was also in there. He discussed how he got involved with them. He was really a safe harbor for them, and ultimately they made um, Tyler Perry the godfather to their daughter, Lilibeth Diana. So if you haven't seen that, check that out on Netflix. I believe it is one of the most viewed docu series on Netflix ever. So that's So that's certainly no small feat. Congratulations to Harry and Meghan on the success of that project. The second release we had from them is one in which they acted as producers. So it's not about their life, it's called Live to Lead. That is something that I really enjoyed. It's about leadership. And so the um, Nelson Mandela Foundation did a project a few years ago, and Harry and Meghan have helped them to get a platform on Netflix. It features interviews from Greta Thunberg as well as, um, I believe, a rugby player out of South Africa, as well as the outgoing Prime Minister of New Zealand. It's really interesting. If you are interested in leadership, or if you're partnering with young people and you want to give them some examples of what great leaders are and how they come in different shapes and form, then it is something that I would recommend. Of course, Live to Lead did not enjoy the level of success that Harry and Meghan did, but still, it's two great projects under their Netflix deal umbrella. And so we look forward to what else will come out of the Archwell production team. The second look back project, and perhaps the one that has caused the most noise, is Spare. Spare is the memoir from Prince Harry that details his life. It begins with the death of his mother, and it ends right around when Queen Elizabeth died. While the coverage of the book has focused primarily on the salacious bits of it, I have actually read Spare, and it is deeply insightful. It is raw. It is unflinching. It is sad in some parts, and it tells a story not of a prince in my view, but of someone who has gone through immense trauma, who may not have been given the freedom to explore, or didn't want to explore those feelings, and someone who over the course of their years have fought with the battle of who am I, which I think is who he was born as, which is the prince, and who is it that I want to be. It is deeply insightful, and if you know anyone that has suffered from trauma or has unresolved trauma, it is a great recommendation for them to read. The audiobook, I believe, is the best version because you get to hear Prince Harry's story in his voice. He did an exceptional and somewhat surprising job of narrating his memoir. It is a good read, good listen to, overall, a good book. And uh, I suspect that perhaps he may receive a Grammy nomination, may even win, and we may soon have to refer to him as Grammy Award winning artist. So congratulations to you, Prince Harry, on that. So now that they've closed the chapter on their look back projects and they are firmly in a place where they can establish themselves as Harry and Meghan away from the royal family, there are a couple projects that there is one project that has been announced, and there's also another project that people are speculating about. One is the Heart of Invictus, which will follow sort of the athletes that who participate in the Invictus Games. The Invictus Games is something that was founded by Prince Harry to support veterans. So it is the Olympics, if you would dare call it that, for wounded soldiers as well as veterans who have served. It is very successful, and so there will be a documentary of that will be released later this year. Next up, we might see the relaunch of Archetypes, which is Meghan's podcast with Spotify. They had a very successful first season, and so it just seems right that they would have a second season. However, it is possible that they may postpone Meghan's second season and launch Harry's podcast. I'm not sure how the deal is structured, whether or not they need to be in front of the camera per se, or if they can just develop the ideas, sell them to Spotify, and then Spotify will place them on their platform. But it is shaping up, certainly this like first half of the year, to be the year where Harry is launched, and so it makes sense, in certainly my view, for him to have a podcast. Now for the elephant in the room. Where to begin? Actually, some of it is some of it is ridiculous and disappointing and petty, but I'll try to stay above the fray and just give you the facts. Upon the death of Queen Elizabeth, Prince Charles, as he was then, is now King Charles, and it's expected that he'll have his coronation on May 6th. May 6th is also the fourth birthday of his grandson, Archie, which is the son of Prince Harry and Meghan. It is also in law, or whatever you call it, statute, that the monarch's children and grandchildren should be styled as prince and princesses. However, it's been several months since Queen Elizabeth passed away, and those children are still not prince or princess. There's also been news last week that Meghan and Harry, the day after Spare was published, that they were instructed, according to their spokeswoman, to vacate their residence, which is Frogmore Cottage. We got confirmation yesterday that they've been invited to the coronation. Now, this relationship has been poor for a while. It's been terrible over the last 3 years. A lot of things have been said and have been done. And so, will they choose to go to the coronation? I don't know. What I do know is how, from the outside looking in, it appeared how they were poorly treated during Queen Elizabeth's funeral. So, I don't know whether or not they will decide to go, if Harry will go by himself, if he will go with Meghan, if they will go as a family. I don't know at this point. We'll just have to take a wait and see approach. I certainly have my opinions on what they should do. I certainly have those, but it's up to them to decide whether they go or they don't go, and they will have to deal with the consequences and the negative press and everything that will come with whichever decision they make. And so that's for them to deal with, and for them to figure out. And family relationships are complex, and it's up to them to decide what they want to do. Okay, folks, that's it for now. Certainly, there will be tons of stories as we've officially entered into the will they or won't they attend the coronation season. And people are desperate now for Harry and Meghan news. But thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this mashup session. If you did, let me know in the comments. Remember to like, to subscribe, and to share. Thanks for being with me. See you next time on Let's Talk TV.